Chris from Bisbee, Arizona. I know it's early, but as you always said, there's no offseason. Which teams are the biggest mystery to you for the upcoming season? Thank you, Chris. Florida. Florida's a mystery team to me. Carryover is very overrated from bowl season. Like, yes, Florida ended the season red hot. Florida ended the season very hot, and then you go into bowl season and they win their bowl game, and you always get this mindless chatter about momentum and it carrying over. And it's all BS. That doesn't happen. Dynamics can carry over. So if you finish the season strong, and I'm counting on you starting the next season strong, it's not some magical, like mythical momentum that you bottle up from your bowl game. Are the same dynamics in place. So DJ Lagway, is he still going to be your quarterback? Yeah? Okay, that's something tangible. Defensively, did you make the right staff moves, and are you bringing critical pieces back? Because, I mean, they fared very well against Ole Miss and LSU down the stretch. I think the answer is yes there. Those are some dynamics that I can count on transferring from one season to the next. But also, here's why it's a mystery. Because Florida is a bona fide playoff caliber team in many other circumstances, but they've got the schedule thing to deal with again this year, and it's a joke. It's a complete crime against college football, the disparity and strength of schedule that we have team to team, even within conferences, is just a joke. There's no excuse for this to be like this. You know, we were looking at the FanDuel odds to win the whole thing this upcoming year. Florida plays 8 of the top 21 teams in the FanDuel odds to win the national title next year. They play LSU, they play Miami, they got Texas and Texas A&M, they play Georgia, they got Ole Miss, they got Tennessee, they got Florida State, they also got USF there, just for good measure, one of the better G5 teams out there. How is that allowed to happen? 2 years in a row now. Florida's just gotten bent over by the SEC schedule makers, and it's because they did this thing where they set the league schedule for 2023, and all they did is invert it for 2024. Like, if you were there, you're going to play in their home building the next year. But by and large, the league schedule will remain the same, and it's a joke. You look at the disparity in the strength of Florida's schedule versus, like, Tennessee's schedule, night and day. Now, it's totally random. I'm not saying anyone had it out for Florida. Maybe they did. I don't know that to be true. It shouldn't be that way. So, I mean, Florida's got, I think, the 15th or 16th odds to win the whole thing. Their over-under win total is 6.5. Totally detached for obvious reasons. Colorado's another mystery team. Colorado, I'll give Deion a ton of credit. He took over that program. They went from 1-11 to 4-8 to 9-4. If he doesn't accomplish anything else there, that's ultra impressive. But now we're looking ahead. So there's no Shador, there's no Travis Hunter. This is sort of Chapter 2 beginning for me. Even though it's year 3, I look at it as Chapter 2 beginning because it's sort of the post-initial wave that he brought in there. They're going to the NFL, and a lot of folks didn't believe he'd be there 3 years in. And now you got Caden Salter and Juju Lewis kind of playing it out at quarterback for the spring. And on paper, this stuff, the talent looks to dip a little bit. But one thing I've learned about Deion in Colorado is they're not playing on paper out there. So I am not going to be the guy with the microphone in which we discount the potential. I don't do that for any Big 12 team. Anything can happen in the Big 12. But it is a great mystery to me what kind of product we're going to see on the field out there in Colorado. Almost dropped my paper. Indiana's another one. I think it's pretty natural. I think it's pretty natural to be curious about what the second act is going to be for Kurt Cignetti and everybody, the entire program there at Indiana. They finished as a playoff team this past year. And not only that, a deserved playoff team. It'd be one thing if they backed their way in, which many people view them as having done, but they deserved it. They earned it. They handled business against a workable schedule. So in the end, mid-season, latter part of the season, I found myself saying, if Indiana gets in this playoff, I think it'll be sort of a shame, but I ended up not feeling that way. Not because I ever had anything against Indiana. I just thought the strength of schedule may not warrant them getting in. But in the end, I believed, all things considered, they did deserve to be in the playoff. Okay, well, how do you follow it up? And the way they followed it up is a really good portal haul again. Now, what we've learned about the portal is there is a lot of randomness to that. When that's how you're going about putting together a lot of your team, the Florida State example is going to be the one that everyone throws in your face. But I'll tell you what else matters. Your process matters. And if you've got a proven process, which I think they do, not in terms of him having been there 9 years and it playing out, but I think he's got a process that will pay off more years than not. It's just early, so it hasn't been proven. If that's the case, I think Indiana strikes me as the kind of place where the portal roulette wheel is not as prone to biting them as badly as it did Florida State this past year. I hope that made sense. That was jumbled. I hope that made sense. There's still potential for volatility there. You're still going to be outmanned roster-wise by Oregon when you play them, Penn State when you play them. Yeah, you will be. But that's okay, because you don't have to win every game you play. That should never be the expectation. That should be their expectation, but it should never be the expectation outwardly. It's a fairly workable schedule again this upcoming year. So that's a mystery. And then the ultimate mystery team in college football right now, maybe even the ultimate mystery program in college football, is North Carolina. Everything's new. Think about this headline 4 months ago. How will Bill Belichick fare in his first year at North Carolina? Well, you mean the Panthers? You talking about Charlotte? No, man. Chapel Hill. Chapel Bill. How are they going to fare? Are we going to get a bump here? Look at the crowd go wild there, as if on cue. Good job, Colin. I saw the opening lines for week 1, and they're, I think, a 2.5-point favorite against TCU. Maybe FanDuel knows something I don't. The model disagrees. I'll say that at the moment. It's not a phenomenal entry point. So it's not like they're walking in inheriting this ready-made contender for the playoff. That's not the way I view North Carolina's roster, per se. I am very much intrigued by what they are and who they are at quarterback. And then I just want to know, how does it feel? I'd imagine. So let's just say there's a world where Belichick stays there 5 years minimum. Most people don't expect that, but let's say you're wrong and he's there 5 years minimum. At that point, they will have succeeded, obviously. And at that point, they'll be doing, documentaries and you'll be looking back on his time at North Carolina. And I would imagine if he's still there in 2030, the way they tell the story is, we all knew we were going to have to bite it a little bit in 2025. And things were so new in 2025, we didn't even really get our entire process and our system implemented until midway through 2026. So 2025, we always knew it was going to be a learning curve. If you try and think futuristically, I could easily see people talking like that about this year. But no one's going to say that in the moment. Like, no, you notice in spring, no coach ever comes to you and says, yeah, we know we're really deficient here. And honestly, we expect a sharp learning curve there, and we'll be lucky if we can make a bowl this year. Hardly anyone says that. But then, in the aftermath, they're like, yeah, we knew in spring. We kind of knew this. We kind of knew that. I just want, for once, a coach to tell me we're going to suck this year. On the record. Probably not advice they're going to get from the agent, so you're going to have to hear it from this angle.